Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to really dive deep today?
Uh-huh.
We're going to be talking all about profit growth and how to make it happen.
Yeah, it's more than just making money, right?
Exactly. We're going to be looking at profit power, strategies for business success, and hopefully taking away some actionable advice. You ever wonder how some companies just seem to explode? Like their profits just go through the roof?
It's not magic.
Definitely not. It's about being strategic,
Absolutely. Understanding profit is key. It's not just about revenue, it's about what you actually get to keep after all the
like
expenses.
the bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line. And that's what makes a business truly successful. I was reading about this company the other day. They make these really cool sustainable shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And they were struggling. They had great revenue, but their profits were tiny.
I bet. Shoes are tough.
All right.
So much competition.
Right. But they made a few strategic changes and boom, profits skyrocketed.
What kind of changes?
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to break it all down for you.
Awesome. So let's get into it. Where do we even begin with this whole profit growth thing?
Well, there are four key areas that we're going to explore today. Increasing revenue, reducing unnecessary costs, optimizing your pricing strategy, and then investing in innovation and growth.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Let's start with increasing revenue. I mean, that's got to be the first step, right? More money coming in.
It's definitely a good place to start, but it's not just about selling more, it's about being smart about it.
Okay, so what's the smart way to go about it?
Well, one really important thing is expanding your customer base. I mean, think about it. The more people you reach, the more potential customers you have.
Right, makes sense. But how do you actually do that, especially in today's crazy competitive market?
Yeah, good point. Digital marketing is a huge one. You got to have a strong online presence. Think social media campaigns, targeted ads, maybe even partnering with some influencers.
And email marketing, right? That's still a biggie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Building an email list and sending out regular newsletters, promotions, that kind of stuff can be really effective. And then, of course, there's always good old-fashioned word-of-mouth marketing. Encourage your happy customers to spread the love. Referrals are gold.
They really are. So we've got the new customers coming in, but what about the ones we already have? How do we make the most of those relationships?
Ah, that's where upselling and cross-selling come in.
Okay, break those down for me.
Sure. Upselling is basically encouraging your customers to buy a higher end version of what they're already getting.
Like if I go to buy a basic laptop, they try to convince me to get the one with all the bells and whistles.
Exactly. Think about Apple. Every time they release a new iPhone, there's always a slightly more expensive model with that extra camera lens or faster processor.
And people go for it. They're masters at that.
Right. And then cross-selling is about suggesting related products or services. Have you ever noticed on Amazon when you're looking at something, they always have that frequently bought together section?
Oh yeah, all the time. It gets me every time. Suddenly I'm buying a phone case and screen protector I hadn't even considered.
Exactly. It's all about strategically presenting those additional options. And then there's also diversifying your income streams.
Okay, now that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Think about it like this. If you have multiple ways of making money, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right, like having a side hustle or something.
Kind of, but it could also be within your existing business. You could offer workshops, create online courses, write an ebook, or even set up some passive income streams like affiliate marketing or selling digital products.
So many possibilities. It's like building a safety net for your business.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about ways to increase revenue, but, and this is important, you also need to think about how to keep more of the money you're bringing in.
Right. Doesn't matter how much you make if you're spending it all.
Exactly. That's where reducing unnecessary costs comes in.
All right, let's talk about cutting costs. Everyone loves saving money. Where do we start?
First things first, you got to do a thorough audit of all your expenses. Like really dig deep and see where your money is going.
Okay, so I'm looking at my bank statements. What am I looking for specifically?
Look for any subscriptions you're not using, software that's redundant, or services that you could be getting for a better price. I know one company that saved a ton of money just by switching to a remote work model and ditching their expensive office space.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially these days with so many people working from home.
Exactly. And beyond just cutting obvious expenses, you can also look at ways to improve your operational efficiency.
How so?
There are some really great tools out there these days. Think about things like CRM software to manage your customer relationships, AI chatbots to handle basic customer service inquiries, and accounting software to automate your financial processes.
So basically, using technology to streamline things and save time and money.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of negotiation. You might be surprised at how much you can save just by negotiating better deals with your suppliers.
Great point. I think a lot of people forget about that or are too afraid to ask for a better deal. Okay, so we've covered boosting revenue and trimming expenses. What's next on our profit growth checklist?
Pricing. Pricing strategy is crucial. You could have an amazing product and be running a super tight ship, but if you don't get your pricing right, you're leaving money on the table.
That's a great point. I know so many entrepreneurs who really struggle with pricing their products or services effectively. It can be tough to find that sweet spot.
Absolutely. It really is. But there's a whole psychology to pricing, and understanding it can make a huge difference. Even tiny tweaks in how you present your prices can have a massive impact on how customers perceive your product and ultimately on your profits.
Okay, so what are some of the key principles of pricing psychology? Any examples?
Think about Starbucks, right? They've done an incredible job of positioning themselves as a premium coffee experience.
Oh, for sure. It's not just coffee, it's a whole vibe.
Right. They've got the ambiance, the fancy drink names, and the prices reflect that. People are willing to pay more for what they see as a high-quality, luxurious experience.
That makes a lot of sense. But, Starbucks aside, how does a business figure out the best pricing approach for their specific product or service?
It all comes down to value-based pricing. You're not just charging for your costs, you're charging for the value you deliver to your customers. Think about the difference between a luxury brand and a budget brand.
Yeah, okay, I get it. A Gucci bag versus, like, a Walmart bag.
Exactly. The materials and manufacturing costs might not be that different, but the luxury brand charges a premium because of its brand image, the perceived exclusivity, and the status it represents.
Wow. Mind blown. Okay, so we've covered increasing revenue, reducing costs, and getting that pricing strategy just right. But what about the long game? How do we keep growing and staying ahead of the competition?
That's where strategic investment comes in. You got to reinvest your profits wisely if you want to keep growing. Allocate funds to research and development, explore new technologies, and constantly innovate. Invest in marketing to reach new audiences and strengthen your brand.
Sounds like we're talking about the future of the business here.
Absolutely. Think about companies like Tesla or Amazon. They're always pushing the boundaries and adapting to market changes. That's why they're leaders in their industries. Remember when Netflix made that huge shift from DVDs to streaming?
Talk about a game changer.
That was a prime example of understanding where the market was going and adapting to meet the changing needs of their customers.
So it's about looking ahead, being flexible, and not being afraid to try new things.
Exactly.
All right, so to quickly recap our deep dive into profit growth today, we've talked about four main areas: increasing revenue, reducing costs, optimizing your pricing, and investing wisely for future growth.
And remember, it's not about doing everything at once. Start with one strategy that resonates with you and your business and go from there.
I love that. So as you're listening to this, think about what one actionable step you can take today to boost your profits. Even a small change can make a big difference down the line.
Now for a fun question, think of your favorite business, the one you admire most. Do you think they focus more on increasing revenue or strategically managing their costs?
Ooh, that's a good one. Definitely something to ponder.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
See you next time.